Hey everybody. So for today's episode of Turtle Talk Tuesday, I want to have a little discussion about my love-hate relationship with the Super7 TMNT Ultimates toy line. So there's been a lot of things that have happened in the last, I guess, 3 years at this point with the Super7 TMNT Ultimates line. I want to say, first of all, that for the most part, I absolutely love this toy line. It may be my favorite toy line of all, at least currently available. I'll put it that way, because there are other, toy lines that no longer put out new toys that I probably like better. But what's been kind of happening with this line is things are going downhill, in my opinion. And I just wanted to do a video in which I kind of just talk about my thoughts and where I kind of see things right now with this toy line. So to start off here, I just wanted to show everyone how much I really do love this toy line, because I have a lot of these figures and if you look here, I have the Turtles, Metalhead, Ray Fillet, Splinter, Mondo Gecko, April O'Neil, Casey Jones. And I really love these figures. I just absolutely think that they're great. They are a wonderful homage to the vintage toy line. And overall, I just love these figures. Here's all of my bad guys. So Leatherhead and Scratch and Baxter, Mutagen Man, Foot Soldier, Shredder, Rocksteady and Bebop, Muckman and Slash. The Slash figure was actually almost my #1 figure of 2022. Krang is back there hiding because the Krang figure is, just kind of so-so. And then these figures look great altogether. I do have some of the reaction figures, mostly the Raphael figures. And then here are the, I guess, disguise turtles, or what we have so far. The Soar Surfer Mike is a fantastic figure. The Samurai Leonardo, not so much. So there you go. There are my Super7 TMNT Ultimates. If you have watched any of my videos on Ninja Turtles or my toy tour video that I posted at the end of 2022, you've seen these already. So there you go. I just wanted to make it clear that I love these figures. I think that overall they're very well done, but I also think that things are going in a direction that is just not making me happy as a customer of Super7 and as a lover of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the action figures. So moving on here, here is what we've got so far. When this toy line was first announced, I was so excited. Pre-ordered immediately from the Super7 website, paid for all 4 of the original Wave 1 figures, and I was very excited. And they were delayed. And I was, as patient as I could be, finally got them in hand, and I loved them. I loved these figures. I didn't have any QC problems with probably the first 3 waves. And I I love these figures, and I was a huge proponent of Super7. I was a huge fan of Super7. I created a Facebook group that was just for the Super7 TMNT Ultimates, so we could all just share pictures of our collection, share pictures of the figures that we love so much. You know, I think that waves 1 and 2 were really solid. They were delayed a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. And then with wave 3, a lot of people had problems. Now I actually started pre-ordering through Big Bad Toy Store instead of Super7, because Super7 does take the money right there when you pre-order. And, you know, I just don't really, I'm not a fan of that. If you are going to deliver the figures when you say you're going to, then okay. But if it takes you almost 2 years to send me the things that I bought from you, I really don't want to have to pay up front. Plus, Big Bad Toy Store, of course, they offer the pile of loot option, which saves you tons of money on shipping. And, you know, I would say customer service through Big Bad Toy Store is much, much better than the experience that I've had through Super7 in terms of their customer service. Now, for me, I did not pre-order the April O'Neil figure. I just didn't like how she looked from the promo pictures. And I thought, well, she's probably not going to be a very popular figure. I'll probably be able to get her cheaper on the aftermarket, which is exactly what I did. And, you know, that's another trend that we're really seeing right now with the TMNT Ultimates. And it's a trend that makes me a little nervous, because if we're going to be paying, you know, $55 to $80 for each figure, and then, you know, a couple months later after they come out, you can get them on Amazon for half that price, that is not good. That is going to really cause people to not pre-order them anymore. And it's going to have this trickle down effect with the line. So, you know, that's an issue. And I've actually stopped pre-ordering a lot of these figures because of that. I really just pre-order the ones that I just feel like I absolutely want as soon as I can get, or if I really feel like they're worth the money. If they're worth whatever the price point is, I will pre-order them at the full price. And if they end up going on sale months later somewhere else, then it just kind of is what it is for me. If I feel like they're worth, if it's $55 or $75, then I will pay that if I feel like they're worth it. Now, I did not have any QC issues with my Metalhead figure from Wave 3. A lot of people did. I personally loved the Metalhead figure. I think he was actually my favorite of the wave. I know a lot of people like the Rocksteady, and, you know, he's cool too. He's nice, big, and chunky. You know, definitely was worth that originally $55, I do believe. But I really loved the Metalhead. I feel like, you know, the little accessory with the wire coming out of his finger, and I kind of actually liked the gold paint on him. And mine was very sturdy. I didn't have any hip issues. I didn't have any issues with mine falling over. He has been fine the whole time. Now, for Wave 4, Muckman is an incredible figure. Again, I'm pretty sure that Muckman was still the original price point of $55. And he may have even been 45. I'm pretty sure by Wave 4, we were paying 55 each for him. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Muckman, he is worth that $55 all day. He is a fantastic figure. Now, I was really looking forward to Mondo Gecko. He was my favorite vintage figure as a little kid. I would carry Mondo Gecko around with me everywhere. I lost the skateboard pretty early on, but I loved that figure. Just a huge fan of Mondo Gecko. I like the design. I like that he's, you know, a lizard, and he looks awesome. Now, mine had some QC issues that I was willing to forgive. I actually had to touch up some of the paint in a couple spots, which I wasn't thrilled about. The Mondo Gecko was the first time that I ever had to do any kind of touching up or fixing of a Super 7 TMNT Ultimates figure. But I was willing to kind of let that slide because I love these figures. The Casey Jones was okay. You know, he had some kind of weird gappage issues in his waist. And I think what we have started to see by wave 4 is that they do the turtles great. They do the monsters fantastic. The human characters, not so good. They are just not so great at doing the human characters, unfortunately. So then it seemed like it was a really long wait between waves 4 and 5. Almost a year we waited to get new TMNT Ultimates figures. I really felt like maybe we wouldn't get any in 2022. And then waves 5 and 6 came out basically at the exact same time. And, you know, another problem that I have with Super 7 is they really do a lot of promises, and they talk a good game in the beginning, and then they do not deliver on what they're offering. In the beginning, Super 7 would say these figures are going to hold on to their value. They're going to be very desirable. People are going to be wanting these figures, and that they were going to work hard to make sure that we would have a wave for each quarter, so that we would get 4 waves a year, 1 wave per quarter. That's what they said in the beginning. They did a pretty good job that first year, that first set of 4. And then things really started to go downhill. Now, Super 7 has been plagued with delays with their other lines. Their TMNT Ultimates are actually probably their best in terms of getting figures to us. They have some lines that are over 2 years delayed. So they're doing something wrong. They can't continue to blame COVID and shipping delays and whatever else they want to blame. They want to blame their factories. They want to say, well, the factories in China, they're shut down because of this. Or, you know, we had to change factories because they were doing this wrong. Or the factories in China. No other toy companies blame the factories in China for anything. You know, Hasbro, Mattel, other toy companies, NECA, third-party places, we never hear them come out and say, oh, well, these figures are delayed, or you can't have these, or this is wrong, or this and this because of the factories. It's not our fault. Or, you know, it just, for me, how come we can get all these other toys from all these other companies, and it's only Super 7 who is passing the buck, blaming these other things, and then not really delivering on their promises? All the other toy companies seem to be getting product out, and they don't seem to be experiencing these delays like Super 7 has. So with waves 5 and 6 coming out essentially at the same time at the very end of 2022, a lot of people were not too happy about this, because people who pre-ordered, they got hit with double the amount of money. You know, if you pre-ordered from Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, you know, you got charged basically double, because instead of a wave coming out per quarter, like we were told, you got 2 waves at the same time at the end of the year. Now, for me, I actually canceled pretty much all of my pre-orders except for my pre-order for Leatherhead and Slash and Ray Fillet. So I got Leatherhead, Slash, and Ray Fillet from Big Bad Toy Store. from my pre-orders, and I was happy to pay full price for them. And I really like those figures. Slash is, I think, the best of the three. My Leatherhead came out really good, but a lot of people were having issues with the Leatherhead in terms of him standing, pieces of him breaking off, lots of QC issues. And Ray Fillet is good. He's a good figure. He's big and chunky, not the best articulation. You know, his weapons are okay. He comes with his little buddy. So pretty good. But I do think that Slash is the best out of the three. As far as some of these others from waves 5 and 6, the Sword Samurai Leo, lots and lots of QC issues with this one. You had to heat him up. I mean, all over. You got to heat him up, his hands, his heads. People were breaking the wrist joints. People were breaking the neck peg, the neck joint, the whole neck kind of falling apart, breaking. Lots of problems, lots of issues with the accessories. Really bad QC issues on the Sword Samurai Leo. I got one. I ordered it from Entertainment Earth so I could save a little bit of money and not have to pay full price. I did the same thing with Sword Surfer Mike. Pre-ordered both of those, and the Sword Surfer Mike is fantastic. He's a great figure. His accessories are good. His articulation is good. I don't think I saw anyone with any QC issues with the Sword Surfer Mike, but the Sword Samurai Leo was just a mess. The Krang. I actually waited a long time to order the Krang until I got him for as on sale as I thought I would ever get him. And he's okay. I do not think he is worth anywhere near $50 or $55. It's nice that you get two versions, but you really, I mean, what are you going to do with two Krangs? I mean, you know, I really just think they should have released Krang as some sort of deluxe set where you get one Krang, interchangeable tentacles, and you get him with his walker and his android body. That's really what they should have done. They should have just done some kind of deluxe type offering where you get, you know, if they're going to call this the Ultimate Krang, this is not the Ultimate Krang at all. And this is not worth anywhere near $50, just at all. The walker does not stand. You have to lean it in a certain way. I had to lean mine against the back of the bookshelf that he's on. You saw in the video previously that, you know, I had to lean him backwards just to get him to stand up so he doesn't fall over and knock all the other figures down. You know, the silver paint is okay, but it does not make up for all the issues. I did not get the Ace Duck at all. I saw some reviews of the Ace Duck, and I think that this is probably the worst of all the TMNT Ultimates. He looks nothing like the renders here. The colors are all off. The colors look very strange. The wings will not go in for most people. Most people had major problems with trying to get his wings to stay. Just really bad. So I never got the Ace Duck, and I never will. I don't have a reason to spend any money at all. The only way I would ever have this in my collection is if I could get it for free somehow. If someone gave it to me as a gift, sure, I'll take it, but that's about it. The Mousers, I had pre-ordered, I canceled it. I was going to pre-order them again, changed my mind, and then I was so close to ordering the Mousers at the same time that I ordered Scratch, because yes, I waited, I got Scratch on sale, Entertainment Earth. I was going to do the same thing with the Mousers. I was very close to ordering them. The only reason I would order the Mousers is for the little turtles, maybe for a battle damaged one, and then for the little Splinter. That is not worth $50 by any means, just to get the little turtles and the Splinter. These Mousers, you know, they really needed to lower the price on these. Now, the thing is, with Wave 6, it's 5 figures instead of 4. So that's the first time that they've been trying to give us 5 figures instead of 4 figures. So the Mousers could have really been an extra 5th offering for half the price. I mean, they already had the mold from the Baxter Stockman figure. It's the exact same Mouser. So they didn't have to do any new tooling. They didn't have to do any new molds for these mousers. Why are they the same price as the Source Surfer mic or the Slash or any of the others? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. A suggestion that I would have, that I know that probably nobody cares, especially not Super7, but I do spend a lot of money on these figures, so I feel like I should at least be able to view my opinion about this, is, okay, we don't need these weapons racks. I don't know how much these weapons racks cost them to make, but even if it lowers the price by $10, just don't do them. We don't need these weapons racks at all. From everyone that I have talked to about this, they just put them in a box or pile them up somewhere. These are just not useful at all. They just take up space. We don't need them. If it'll save us $10 a figure and you can lower the price back down to 45, then please do it. And also feel free to not have the packaging so big and all the parts that go into the packaging. You know, you've got the cardboard shipper and the slip case and all the stuff that goes into the packaging. We really don't need all that at all. Like, we just want the figures, maybe one fist, you know, pair of fists, a pair of gripping hands for their weapons, the weapons that the vintage toy came with, and maybe a couple other accessories. We don't need, like, you know, we don't need 4 pairs of hands where 2 pairs of them are the exact same hands. We don't need these weapons racks. And sometimes even the alternate heads are not so great. Like the alternate head on Slash, not really necessary, you know? The alternate head on Scratch, don't really need it, you know? So some of the alternate heads are great, but some of them are, you know, not really necessary. I just feel like they need to find a way to make this more palatable for us as collectors. All they keep doing is raising the price and lowering the quality control, lowering what we're getting. When you look at waves 1, 2, and 3, really 4, really the first 4 waves, when you look at those, you know, most of those start out as $45 each, and they were absolutely worth it for the most part. But I feel like things are just going more and more downhill, because here is what we're waiting on. So here's waves 7, 8, and 9. So what they have moved to do is the figures that are bigger are now $75. And that is just not good, right? Because, you know, the other thing too is we pre-order these, and a lot of times it's taking almost 2 years to get these figures now. So why are we paying so much money to wait almost 2 years, and then they end up going a lot cheaper on Amazon? The other thing I really don't like, that I'll show in a second here, is the character selection is really starting to get just not making sense to me. Not making sense to me at all. I feel like they are taking advantage of us as collectors because they kind of know what we want, but they don't want to give us what we want for whatever reason, whether it's tooling, whether it's expense, whether it's related to the, you know, the legal status of the character not being available to them for whatever reason, which I just really don't buy into, honestly. And I'll mention that again too. But look at the character selection for wave 7. So hunkered on. All right. Why are they starting the Rock and Roll Turtles when we haven't even finished the original set of Disguise Turtles? Now I understand Super7, they like the rock and roll music, heavy metal stuff, and that's fine. But they're using a spot in a wave for, they're starting off a set of turtle variants when we haven't even finished the first set yet. We have Sword Surfer Mike, which is a great figure. We have Samurai Leo, which had a lot of problems that they really never addressed. They gave us a undercover Raphael, which really, why? Now, it was a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, so I kind of get it, It was an exclusive. It wasn't part of a wave, okay? But we still need undercover Donatello. And if you think about it, they haven't even mentioned it yet. So they haven't even put it up for pre-order yet. And it'll be 2 years. Like if they announce it tomorrow, it'll probably be 2 years before we get that figure to complete the set of original disguised turtles. That, as a collector, an incomplete team for at least another 2 years. And the thing is, too, I feel like Super7 has existed long enough now that we really shouldn't have to be pre-ordering things that take over a year to get to us. They already have everything they need to make the undercover Don in terms of the tooling for the figure, the, disguise, the costume, because they made it for the undercover Raphael. Why can't they offer the undercover Don and have it, already be on its way to us? They know that we're all going to get it to complete that set. So instead of putting it up for pre-order and making us wait a year or two, put it up for order and say, we'll have this to you in 6 months. It's already on the water. I don't know. I just feel like their business model is outdated and they really need to fix things. They really do. The Michelangelo robot, I can't think of what it's called now. That's mostly just a redesign of Metalhead. So no new tooling. It's just Metalhead redone in a different way. We're not sure how shiny this one's going to look, right? The Triceraton, that's absolutely 100% pre-order first day for me. That Triceraton looks great. He should be nice and big like Rocksteady and Bebop. He has everything he needs. He looks great. The robot Bebop, I don't know if we need that so soon. Okay, maybe they should have done the robot Bebop and Rocksteady as like some kind of exclusive 2-pack, do like an Entertainment Earth 2-pack. Rocksteady and Bebop robot versions together as a 2-pack and do that. And not have it take up a spot in a wave. The Gorilla, it looks like a neat figure. I mean, he's kind of cool, but that's not Sergeant Bananas, and it does not look like the vintage toy. This is kind of where I really started to rethink how I was collecting Super7 figures as a whole, not even just TMNT Ultimates, but everything. Because I feel like they're doing this because they know what version we want. And eventually, they're just going to use this tooling to redeco the figure, give us the Sergeant Bananas that we really want that looks like the vintage toy, and this figure is going to be worthless. But they're saying, well, this is what we're giving you. This is what you can have for your Sergeant Bananas. I'm not buying it. I'm literally not buying it. And I'm also just, I don't believe them when they say, well, this is the version we can do. We're doing our own kind of thing here with this. And that's what you get. And it's like, why are we spending all this money on figures that are supposed to be, adult collectible kind of reimagined versions of our vintage toys from our childhood that we, love so much, that give us that nostalgia? why are you doing this version if it's not to just try to get one on us and make more money? I don't know. So then the next wave, Space Cadet Wrath, absolutely. I am 100% on board. We need to complete that set of 4 original disguised turtles. I'm a huge fan of Raphael. You know, I definitely pre-ordered this one, and if I see another one that goes on sale, I'll probably order 2. Honestly, I know that sounds crazy, but I just love Raphael that much, and I just love this figure that much. I think the Genghis Frog, he's pretty good. I don't know about the alternate head sculpt. You know, I don't know how necessary that head sculpt is with the tongue out. His eyes look a little crazy. But I mean, absolutely Genghis Frog. We need him. Pre-ordered him. I hope the figure is good. This Shredder repaint is another huge step backwards, if you ask me. To put a figure that is a straight repaint in a wave, taking up a spot that could have been, you know, a figure that we really need from the vintage line, they could have at the very least given us the Toon version of Shredder and put a shirt on him. They couldn't even be bothered to do that. They just took the existing tooling that they have, the exact same Shredder figure, which is not even that great to begin with, honestly, and they just repainted him in silver armor and said, here you go, $55. I just feel like that's a real slap in the face to the collectors of this line and to the supporters of Super7. The Gorilla is one thing. I can kind of understand that, and it is a really cool looking figure. It really is. But this Shredder repaint, that's insulting, is what it is. So wave 9, wave 9, again, the Scumbug, fantastic. The Wingnut and Screw Loose, awesome. Now the Wingnut and Screw Loose, I do believe is the higher price point of $75. I think the Scumbug, was he the higher price point too? I want to say maybe he was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, Muckman and Joe Eyeball, they were the regular $55 price. I'm very, very nervous about the wings on Wingnut because given how their track record with wings, they really need to make some big improvements if those wings on Wingnut are going to stay in place and not break and not droop, and if they're going to look anyway decent. The re-release of Splinter, same kind of thing as the re-release with Shredder. Why is there a spot in the wave being taken up by a straight up re-release? The same figure, but flocked. That original Splinter figure, you can probably get him for about 20 or 25 bucks on eBay. And they're re-releasing that figure, but he's just flocked. Again, I think that's another insult to the supporters of this line. And then we have the basketball player, Donnie. He looks cool, he looks fine. But again, why are they starting yet another set of turtle variants with Donatello, right? Why not one of the other rock and roll turtles? Show us that you're going to actually finish a set of turtles besides the original 4. So now we've got, first of all, we had Disguised Raphael, which I know it was an exclusive, but I mean, unnecessary, if you ask me. That could have very easily been a disguised Donatello. And then after Space Cadet Wrath, we would have the complete set of 4 turtles. And I feel like they are just leading us on here. They kind of have us, you know, on a leash because they're like, well, you're going to keep buying these because if you want to have your complete set of 4 turtles, you have to keep giving us money or we're not going to make it. That's how I feel. That's what I feel they're doing. Because now we don't even have him in hand yet. And we've got Punker Don. We don't have the other 3 anywhere in the next, who knows, 2 years. Who knows when we're going to get Undercover Don. honestly, Basketball Dawn should have been Undercover Dawn. And then we would have completed that set. So now we're getting Punker Dawn, Basketball Dawn, no other turtles in sight to complete any teams of turtle variants. So it's just not a great situation. So this is direct from Super7's website, the website where they give updates on the pre-order status, which, I mean, a lot of people are saying how grateful they are because it's like, hey, they're giving us updates and they're showing us when stuff's going to come out, and they update it, you know, every couple of weeks or whatever. But it's like, if you need a whole website just to show people how behind you are on things because the dates that you give them are never ever accurate, I mean, what does that say for you as a company? You know, none of the other companies need a website where it says like, well, I know that we told you this date, but now it's going to be this date. You know, so the turtle van, which I did pre-order, I really like the way that the pictures look with their party wagon, and I don't know. Honestly, I am worried that it would be a waste of money, because if I get it and if it is not anywhere close to being worth $450, I don't know. Notice it still says in tooling review. The Super7 party wagon has not even gotten close to production yet. They haven't even started making it yet. So this is probably going to be 2 years delayed. Now, this is interesting. Wave 7, 8, and 9. Wave 8, it looks like we're going to get first. And then wave 7, and then wave 9. But if you look at the dates, wave 8, ship out to customers mid-August. Wave 7, ship out to customers October. Wave 9, okay, so it's wave 8, 9, and then 7. So wave 7 is now so delayed that it's going to come out after wave 9. But let's say that they announce wave 10 tomorrow, and in wave 10, it's one of the other rock and roll turtles. Well, you're not even going to get Punker Dawn until the end of 2023. And what if he's terrible? The other rock and roll turtles could be equally as terrible, right? So, you know, they're spending all of this time re-releasing figures and making glow-in-the-dark versions of figures, like the glow-in-the-dark turtles, the glow-in-the-dark foot soldiers that you see here. They're spending all that time and effort on figures that they already have the tooling for. All they're doing is recasting it in glow-in-the-dark plastic, charging maybe more money than they originally charged a year or two ago. And those are the ones leaving the factory. Those are the ones people are getting. But yet wave 7 is, you know, what, a year delayed. Waves 8 and 9 are going to come out first. And waves 7 and 9 are going to come out around the same time. So that means people who pre-ordered, so if you pre-ordered through Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store, you haven't been charged money yet, you're probably going to get charged for waves 7, 8, and 9 about the same time. So between September and October, a 2-month span of time, you're going to get charged 3 waves of Super7 TMNT Ultimates. So how much is that? $600? Somewhere between $600 and $700. And if the party wagon comes out when they're saying it's going to, which I doubt, it comes out the same time. So add another $400 to that. So you're talking September, October of this year. So in about 8 to 9 months, you could take a hit of over $1,000 because of Super7 being behind in their production schedule. And I feel like this is their way of punishing people who don't pre-order through them directly. That's what I feel like. Because if you pre-order through other companies that don't charge you right away, you better be watching what happens here. Because I can foresee the Party Wagon and Waves 7, 8, and 9 all coming out at the same time, the end of the year, like they did with Waves 5 and 6 this past year. So October of 2023, towards the end of the year, if you pre-ordered everything, it's going to be over $1,000. Just boom, all at once. So here are the vintage toys. Now, the first year, or the first big wave, if you want to look at it that way, we have completed. But look at the next set of figures. Like, still no General Trag, still no Rat King, still no Usagi Yojimbo. Now, we hear all the time about the legal issues around Usagi Yojimbo and you know, the rights to the character and all that. Well, NECA didn't have a problem making theirs. So why can't Super7 give us a version of Usagi? Rat King and General Trag, you know, why haven't we gotten them yet? You know, instead they're doing glow-in-the-dark versions of the Turtles. They're doing Robot, Rocksteady, and Bebop. They're doing a version of Sergeant Bananas that nobody asked for, but yet we can't get Rat King and General Trag to complete this set of very early vintage toys. Going down to the next set, right? We have a lot of these guys, but you know, Fugitoid. Fugitoid's another one where they're like, well, we don't know who owns the rights and we can't really make that one and blah, blah, blah. NECA didn't have a problem making Fugitoid, right? Still no Napoleon, still no Pizza Face, still no Pandacon. I'm not really concerned about Storage Shell Turtles. That'll probably be the next Donatello that they announce. So instead of another, you know, Rock and Roll Turtle, instead of another Sports Turtle, it'll be, oh, now we're doing Storage Shell Donnie. So, you know, the later figures, right? I don't know. We have a neutrino, which, you know, I don't really, honestly, you know, that's kind of, I kind of feel the same way about the neutrino that I did about like with Krang. It's like, okay, if it goes like super on sale, I'll get the neutrino, but you know, I don't know. But yet you go down here and we're getting Robot, Rocksteady, and Bebop. We've already gotten Scratch. It's like, all right, but what about Rat King and General Trag? Could you maybe go into a little bit of an order so that we could start completing some of these sets? And then the Disguised Turtles. Like, when are we going to get Disguised Donatello to complete that set of 4? Because it's already going to be another year before we ever get him. And they already have all the tooling. They have all the soft goods. They have everything they need to release that figure, but they're not doing it because I feel like they just want to keep stringing us along. Who knows when the Rock and Roll Turtles, it could be, you know, 5 years before we get all 4 Rock and Roll Turtles. If we ever even do, they might stop making them because they might say, well, not enough people are pre-ordering them. We're not going to make them anymore. And then we'll have incomplete teams of turtles and you'll kind of think, well, what was the point? Because I don't want this line to die. I really don't. I really, really want to see practically all of those in 7-inch scale adult collectible versions. Some of them I definitely don't need, but you know. So where do we go from here? I don't know. I just I look behind me at those figures and, you know, I love the way the turtles look together. I love how the colors match the vintage toys. The Leatherhead, the Slash, even the Rocksteady and Bebop are amazing. Before I forget, I want to share my Ninja Turtle toy haul for the week. big announcement. Not really. I finally got Dr. L. So got this guy on eBay. He got here yesterday. Of course I had this as a kid because I had pretty much all of them as a kid. But yeah, I found a Dr. L in really good shape on eBay and a decent price, maybe a little bit more than I wanted to pay for a single figure, but he's worth it. I care more about figures in good shape. Maybe we'll get a Dr. L announced in the next wave. So we'd be up to wave 10. Maybe it'll, I guess we'll get it in middle of 2024. I just feel like they can get these figures to us a lot sooner than what they're claiming. I don't know. I just, it's a shame because when they were first announced and those first couple waves were great. And then things started to get more and more delayed. They started to raise the prices. The quality control went down. Things are getting more delayed instead of getting better, they're getting worse. And the character selection makes no sense unless they are purposely trying to string us along. That's what I get from that character selection. So, I try to keep things positive. I try to look on the bright side of things when it comes to toy collecting because it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. But I don't know, with Super7, it is very much a love-hate relationship because I love some of the figures, but I hate a lot of the things that they do as a business. And some of the quality control issues are just not acceptable at this point. You can't keep just blaming the factory. You can't blame COVID. You can't blame, oh, these were just renders. The figure isn't supposed to look like this. No other companies really do that to us. And if they do, it's a lot more few and far between than it is with Super7, which is kind of the norm for Super7. And it's a shame because I really started out supporting this company and really buying into a lot of what they were doing and what they were saying, but not anymore. I buy the figures that I really, really want for my collection. And if I have to make repairs or if I have to return figures because they're not good enough and just say, you know what, I'm not spending $55 or $70 on this, that's what I'm going to have to do. So I would love to know your thoughts about the state of Super7 TMNT Ultimates. If you disagree with me, feel free, tell me why you think I'm, off track here. But these are my opinions on just their business practices, and some of the figures they've been putting out have just not been good and definitely not worth $50, if that. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this discussion. I would love to know what all of you think, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.